Hello everyone, welcome to a chilly and empty Roosevelt Field for this Suburban 1 National Conference clash between the Norristown Eagles and the Abington Galloping Ghosts. I'm Walt Fry here with Mr. Tony Koya, and what do you think is going to happen? Postponed because of rain.
Well, it's always going to be interesting because I'm sure the field is not in the best condition, so that's going to be some running back problems. It's also going to mean, I'm sure, a wet ball for quarterbacks to handle, so we might see some handling problems later on. A lot of it's going to depend. Let's see what happens on the kickoff.
Okay, here it is, the kickoff. It's a long kick. Ruttman receives the kick at his own 15. Got some blockers. Ruttman puts his head down, gets out across the 25 to his own 26. And Norristown will start there. Norristown 1-3 in league. Abington 3-3 overall and 3-1 in league. Abington coached by Doug Moister. Norristown coached by Roger Grove. Three backs in the backfield behind quarterback Dave Sessa. He turns handoffs to the first man up the middle. That's Marcus Smith. Smith rambles for 14 yards up to the 4.
And Walt, that was a great run by Marcus Smith. You saw him just break through 2 or 3 tacklers and just kept right on going. His legs up high, he was really moving.
A good start for Norristown. Tough to get up for the game like this, but Norristown looks like they are. I formation now. Hand off to Ruttman. Ruttman off the right side, breaks it. Another, looks like 14 for Norristown. 2 runs, 2 first downs. And Norristown moving the ball well behind that offensive line, which is number 61, Rich Romano at end. Number 77, Chad Ochnick's the guard. 57, Dave Latanzi, the center. 65, Steve Clark, the other guard. And 78, Vinny Catagnis, the other tackle. Number 4, Dwayne Smith, the tight end. Handoff this time, up the middle again. Good more time. That's the 3rd Norristown running back, Mike Carroll. Goes for about 5.
Yeah, right about now, Walt, Abington has got to start saying this stuff. They've got to simmer down and begin doing some things right. That's, I think, 4 plays in a row. 10 yards. 12 yards, and now 5 yards. Norristown's going to begin thinking that they can move at will.
So far they have. The wide receiver is Priest Ramsey, and of course quarterback number 8, Dave Sessa. The handoff to Smith. Marcus Smith breaking tackles, carrying men with him.
And that was a great second effort at Marcus Smith. Once again, we saw him, he refused to go down. He had 2 or 3 people hit him. He carried 2 of them right to the sidelines. He got an extra 5 or 6 yards out of that run just by refusing to stop.
Just dragging number 9, Terry Tolbert, and that got him the first down. The pitch is to Ruttman. Ruttman off the right side, another hole. Ruttman down to the Abington 25. So far, Norristown content to keep the ball on the ground and doing a nice job of it.
And I guess it's that old story of if it's working, continue to do it.
And so far, we've seen no footing problems.
No, matter of fact, I'm surprised at that. We haven't seen any mud kicked up, nor on any of the white uniforms of Norristown, even their knees. We don't see any real dirty knees or anything, so maybe the field's in better condition than we thought it was.
Norristown right now in a nice green field, not a whole lot of dirt there.
Yeah, well, let's take a minute just to mention the Norristown assistant coaches. We know Roger Grove's the head coach, but we have Rich Everett, Joe Fabrizio, Jim Pyle, Mark Schmidt, and Brian Kennedy are all the assistants. And let's also give a hand to the freshman football coach, Steve Horner, and his assistant, John Ponton, that hopefully channel some good players into this varsity squad.
And of course, a full-time trainer for Norristown, Mr. Lynn.
Yes, that's been an addition this year, and I understand he's doing a great job. We're right now sitting in a situation where Norristown is 2nd and about 4 to go on, it looks like they're Abington's 25.
See a slip there and a fumble. Dave Sessa falls on it, and there we see a slip. Looked like the man to get the ball, number 32, Marcus Smith. Smith fell. Sessa in the confusion fumbled the ball, but fell on it. So Norristown faces a 3rd and 6. They hand it off again. Ball is knocked out. Picked up by Marcus Smith. Smith going nowhere that time. Didn't pick up the number, but the Abington defender put his helmet right on the ball, popped it loose.
All right, so the momentum seems to have changed a little bit right here.
And Rob Wennick into punt for Norristown. It's like number 8, Jason Hughes, his own goal line, almost blocked. Takes a bad Norristown roll. Vinny Catagnas falls on it. Looks like Abington will have it about their own 27. Not a whole lot of yardage.
Now, that's an interesting situation. I'm sure the punter probably was trying to get the ball high into the air, because in a situation like that, you only have 25 yards. You'd like to put it high in the air so that your people are all around the receiver from Abington. Let's see if Abington comes out and is able to mount any kind of drive equal to what Norristown first came out.
We should mention that was number 45, Taz Orlina, who once blocked that punt for Abington. Abington runs it off the left side. That looked like number 43 for Abington. Steve Gaskins on the run.
It seems that the field really is not any sort of a problem like we had talked earlier that it might be. Of course, that doesn't mean what's going to happen after they've been running on it for a half hour or so. We have a measurement coming out here.
Everything just with inches to go for the first down. So it's a 2nd and inches. Abington quarterback number 10, Tinker Harris. His running backs are 43, who takes the ball that time. Pounds up inside for the first down, and the other running back is number 45, Taz Orlina.
And Walt, you can see on your screen we have the Abington cheerleading squad invading the Norristown side right here. And I'm sure they're here to do a cheer as soon as we can get back to the field.
They run the option that time. Number 10, the quarterback Harris, keeps the ball. And he got close to a first down, about a yard short.
We've had an awful lot of 8, 9, 10-yard runs over here, really from both sides. I'm really surprised. Their defenses are going to have to settle down and not give the opposition that kind of a gain as frequently as they're giving it to them.
Straight up the middle. Abington just running that same play, that option off the left side. Gaskins again got the ball. And he got the yard needed for the first down. Let's give you that Norristown defense. Across the line, number 3, Priest Ramsey. Number 61, Rich Romano. Number 77, Chad Ochnick. Number 78, Vinny Catagnas. And number 6, Chuck Biego. At linebacker, Bill Every and Marcus Smith. This time it's Orlina. Orlina got maybe 3.
Well, it looks like that's exactly the same play that they've probably run about 4 times in a row. Norristown seems to be shutting them down a little bit on it.
The defensive backs for Norristown, number 22, Mike Carroll, 21, Rob Wennick, number 9, Kem Johnson, and number 6, Steve de Blasio. Abington with a 2nd and 8 at Norristown 46. Little confusion there. There's a fumble. Norristown ball. Number 5, Bill Every fell on that. Looked like a exchange problem there between the quarterback and the center. Center is 54, Tim O'Leary. Bill Every right through the line to fall on it.
Yeah, and you know, that can happen. This is kind of a fairly cold night, and it's one of our first real cold game nights. And that can happen with the quarterback's fingers getting a little bit stiff, especially this early in the game.
Norristown to throw. Sessa out wide to Mike Carroll. Carroll puts a move. Still going down the sidelines. Carroll looked trapped there on the sidelines. Got past 3 men.
We're seeing a lot of second effort on this Norristown offensive squad. Once again, I think we've said 2 or 3 times, Norristown just has refused to go down when they're hit by one tackler, and you're going to have to get 2 or 3 people around them in order to knock them down. A lot of great second effort there.
Got a timeout on the field now.
I think that's an official's timeout. I didn't quite see the call. Did you pick it up, Walt?
No. Well, Norristown brings it up to the line now. They've got 10. The pitch is to Ruttman off the right side. Ruttman cuts through the hole. Just slashing up inside. Nice run by John Ruttman.
Once again, about a 7 or an 8 yard gain. Putting Norristown in a position, 2nd down, 4 to go on Norristown's 31-yard line. About 4 minutes left to the end of the first quarter.
Handoff to Marcus Smith up the middle. We got a flag on the play. Marcus Smith had a nice run there, about 10 yards, but we'll get the call there for you. We've got an illegal block there on Norristown.
Now that's an interesting situation. You can see them marking off the penalty over here in the upper left-hand part of your screen.
And that's 10 yards.
That's certainly not going to put Norristown in a good situation.
So now Norristown pushed back to a 2nd and 15 situation. 3:36 left to go in the first quarter. Scoreless tie here. I formation with Mike Carroll in the slot. Sessa to throw. Out to Carroll. Carroll, nice move inside. Beautiful move there to elude 2 tacklers. Finally brought down by number 34, Troy Gaines.
And that's going to put him in a situation where we're going to have 3 third down and 5 yards approximately.
Sessa to throw again. Going long. Pass incomplete, intended receiver Mike Carroll.
Had a lot of company back there when he was throwing. Unfortunately, most of them were the Abington players. And being in that position a couple times, it's very easy to become distracted with a lot of 220-pound linemen running in.
Got a timeout on the field.
All right, and with that timeout, see if we can get a shot of the Norristown cheerleading squad over here. Once again, some girls that spend an awful lot of time out here with the team. They don't have an awful lot of audience tonight. What we see them doing is, I guess, keeping warm, because it is a little bit chilly out there. Whenever we're in a game situation like this where it's been canceled from a Friday night to a Saturday night, and for you folks listening, it's for us, this game has been delayed at least 24 hours because of the rain in the field. Abington probably doesn't have 95 people in the stands, and Norristown has a very sparsely attended game tonight. And that's a little bit tough on the players. They don't begin to get pumped up a little bit because of the crowds that they hear. A lot of their friends from school probably aren't here to cheer them on. But we're certainly here, Walt. All right, and our camera person, Cindy McNeil, who's been doing a great job so far.
Of course, you know who isn't here, and that's Jeff Brandon, but we won't mention that.
That's true. We won't mention it, but...
Throw on 4th and 5.
Oh.
Underthrown, we've got a flag there.
Got a flag on the play. Now, because of the time that flag came down, it might be an interference call.
Number 3, Priest Ramsey, trying to come back to the ball. Looks like he was held back there. Could have been number 10, Tinker Harris, with the infraction. That's what it is, pass interference.
All right, and here they're going to mark off 15, and that's going to put Norristown in a position of inside the 20. Is that, Walt? 1st and 10. I believe it's inside the 20. This angle that we're looking at, it's a little bit tough.
Looks like they're at about the 18 of Abington with a 1st and 10, with 2:35 to go in the first. The handoff to Mike Carroll. Carroll out in the open field. Nice tackle there by Terry Tolbert. But not before Carroll picked up about 9 yards.
Tolbert is going to remember that for a while. I think Carroll just let him, when he came right into him, lowered his shoulder, and they're going to remember each other for a little while, I think, for the rest of the evening anyway. It was a real hard hit out there.
So Norristown with a 2nd and 1. They fake the pitch and go up the middle. We got a pile up. Pile centered around Marcus Smith, who was the ball carrier.
Looks like they did get the first. The chain gang on the upper part of your screen is moving down the field, and it looks like we're inside the 10. So we're in a 1st and goal situation for Norristown. About 1:44 left in the first quarter.
And Marcus Smith certainly earned that. 1st and goal, 6 yards to go for Norristown. Priest Ramsey out way wide. To Carroll. Mike Carroll over number 9, Terry Tolbert, for the touchdown. So Mike Carroll found the hole and shrugged off Terry Tolbert for the Norristown touchdown. Norristown opening up lots of holes for their running backs. Running backs are finding, once they get through into that secondary, doing the job of their own. Rob Wennick in to kick the extra point for Norristown. Abington came on the block, but it looks like they came a little bit early. Abington that time sent 2 men off of either end. Offensive backfield just came sprinting in around the end. It's just a timing play, but they timed it a little bit early and were off sides.
We see a Norristown timeout now. Now, the situation we're in, Walt, let's talk about this for a minute. Obviously, we have a couple minutes here to kill before we go on. Norristown now has the ball on the 1 yard line. they've been running things pretty well so far. I wouldn't say at will, but they've been running things pretty well. So they might decide to go for the 2-point conversion. I see the coach out there talking to him right now, and we'll just see what happens. You think it's an even bet, Walt?
Well, they just brought their center in, number 57, Dave Latanzi. So, not the long snapper, that's the normal center. So we may see them just try to pound it up in there for the yard and the 2 points. Certainly would help if it came down to it, but...
All right.
So the fake went to Marcus Smith. Sessa keeps it himself. Norristown now leads 8-0. Kept the momentum going into this game. Winning to kick off, number 8, Jason Hughes. Number 2, Ray Crawley, back for Abington. Winnick with a low line drive. Norristown close to recovering it there, number 42, John Rutman.
And boy, Norristown was real close to getting on that ball. I halfway thought that it was going to be a situation where obviously the ball would have gone more than the required 15 yards, I believe it is. And Norristown was real close to it. Puts Abington in a situation 1st and 10 on their own 25-yard line.
That went up the middle, the 43. That's the fullback Gaskins. Gaskins a big guy, goes 6'1", 225.
Yeah, I noticed that earlier. And he's only in 11th grade, which means we're going to be seeing Gaskins next year, I'm sure.
He got 6, so it's 2nd and 4 for Abington. Up the middle to Gaskins again. This time he breaks it. Brought down by 6, Steve DeBlasio, after Winnick tripped him up.
So in 2 carries, Steve Gaskins has gone approximately 20 yards.
And Abington not going with the smaller, quicker Orlina, but the Biggins trying to outpower Norristown. That's the end of the first quarter. Teams will switch ends. Norristown leads 8-0.
Now, as they're changing position in the field, we haven't seen Abington throw at all in this first quarter. It'll be interesting to see if they begin to think that what they're
this time
going to throw a long.
Good adjustment that time. His wide receiver is number 8, Jason Hughes. Hughes adjusted to the ball nicely.
I really thought he had his hands on it until he came down, and he came down in some traffic.
It looked like number 21, Winnick, on the coverage.
And I think that jarred the ball loose, and that was obvious. That's certainly legal. They both have the same right to go up for the ball, and obviously the referee didn't call any penalty at that point in time.
But not a bad touch by Harris, and a very good adjustment to the ball by Hughes.
Right, and we were just talking going.
And also a good defensive play by Winnick to knock it loose. They try to run this time.
We have an Abington infraction. Backfield in motion, if that's the old call.
They mark off 5 yards, and Abington now faces a 2nd and 15 at their own 40-yard line. The handoff this time is to Orlina. Orlina, nice run. Finally brought down the backfield by number 32, Marcus Smith.
And well, Taz Orlina, 6 foot 185, is also an 11th grader. So we're seeing a real young starting backfield here for Abington, most of whom might be around next year.
This time the receiver is number 9, Terry Tolbert. Abington still in that same I formation with Gaskins and Orlina. Gaskins, a ball carrier, tries to go around the end. Dragged down there by number 22, Mike Carroll.
And he tried to cut it in, but just couldn't do it. Too many blue jerseys out there.
Well, Vinny Catagnis strung him out. Mike Carroll out there to bring him down.
And that's what a defensive coach loves to see.
Carroll giving away 40 pounds to Gaskins. Still managed to bring him down. Abington 4th and 3, they're going for it. Vinny Catagnis very upset with himself. He jumped off sides, and that'll give Abington the first down.
That's a shame. It's the kind of thing, obviously, that you can't happen. He's obviously pumped up, wants to get into that backfield as soon as he can, and unfortunately got there a little bit early.
So Abington at the Norristown 43-yard line. Number 4, Adam Gerber, the wide receiver now. We've got another flag as the play goes up the middle. That time Orlina was the ball carrier.
Yeah, that was the line judge call, and it looks like we have illegal motion on Abington's side.
Exactly
Is
what
that
it
the
was.
call you picked up?
Yep, so Abington will be pushed back 5 more yards, 1st and 15. Harris picked up good yardage before being dragged down by number 3, defensive end Priest Ramsey. So Harris showing good running ability as he gets to the outside. And he got 12 for Abington.
Yeah, right, 12 yards that time. All right, 2nd and 3. Abington seems to be on the move. A little bit of momentum moving in their favor right now.
We've got 2 men left. Number 4, Gerber. Number 8, Hughes. Handoff up the middle. That's Gaskins again. And it looks like Gaskins got enough for the first.
The chain gang's moving down the road. So Abington seems to be moving where they're right about the 31-yard line of Norristown. 8 minutes and 11 seconds till they have plenty of time to do anything they want to do.
We're seeing a very conservative game on both sides of the field. This time, Orlina, the only man in the backfield. He gets the ball. He's hit twice. Finally brought down. Good defense by Norristown.
And it looks like he picked up maybe two yards. 2nd down and 8. Ball's on the 30-yard line of Norristown.
Harris about to go down that time. Pitched the ball out to Orlina, and Orlina had a nice cutback. Only got 4 though, so it's 3rd and 4 for Abington. We had him in there.
And once again, we saw Norristown come across the line, and I think we even had some contact in the interior line positions there. So we've got offsides Norristown. They're going to walk off that 5, and that might put them over. All right, the chain gang is moving.
Abington needed 4, the penalty's 5.
You can't let that type of thing give them a first down in this sort of territory.
That's the second time we've seen Norristown do that. First time on a 4th down play.
Yeah, there have been more flags in this game than I would have hoped we would have seen when we started.
We're halfway through the second quarter. Handoff up the middle to Orlina. Orlina doesn't get far in the middle of the line there. Excuse me, that was 43 Gaskins, not 45 Orlina on the carry.
Figure it out.
2nd and 7 for Abington. The handoff goes to Orlina off the right side. Tried to hurdle through that hole.
And it's a little tough from this angle, but I think he picked up about 3 yards, putting Abington in the 3rd down and, what, 4 yards to go, would you guess, B?
So Abington with a 3rd and 4. See what they do in this situation. They have 2 receivers out to the right. Gaskins or Orlina in the eye behind Harris. They run the ball. Harris keeps it himself. Orlina. That'll be good for a first and a touchdown.
Good for the touchdown.
Norristown with some missed tackling there.
And a great selection on that quarterback for when he decided to pitch the ball out. They're both running around the left side. Quarterback could have had the option of keeping the ball and cutting in or pitching it out. Seemed like he was about to hold on to it and cut in. He drew the Norristown's defense in with him, pitched it at exactly the right time. That's the kind of thing that an 11th grade quarterback normally make the best decisions in the world, but he certainly did at that point in time. So it looks like Abington's going to go for the 2-point conversion.
Try and tie Norristown up here. Harris keeps it around the end. Pitches to Orlina.
Oh.
Works again.
Right. Same play, opposite side. Abington is getting real pumped up at this point in time. 8-8. 4 minutes and 29 seconds to go to the half. There's going to be plenty of high school this evening in your Norristown area school district channel. I'll check with here.
So Abington ties this game up. It'll be number 3, Billy Godfrey to kick off. Left-footed kicker. Hits it down about the 25, taken there by number 6, Steve de Blasio. De Blasio, nice move. Puts his head down and runs smack into, look like for 82 there maybe. That's Lawrence Jones. Norristown, 1st and 10 on their own 30. Handoff going to right side. Rutman goes for about 8.
All right, and there once again you see the cold but energetic Norristown cheerleading squad. Trying to pump a little bit of life into this crowd here.
Handoff up the middle. That'll be good for a first. Number 32, Marcus Smith on the carry. So Norristown have a first and 10, 3:08 left to go. Misdirection to Ruttman. Ruttman got about 3. Number 6, Steve de Blasio in for Ruttman. Norristown with a 2nd and 8. Sets it to throw. Nice diving catch by Marcus
they're
Smith.
saying his feet were out of bounds.
Smith had to dive out, couldn't get his feet down. So that'll make it 3rd and 8 for Norristown.
And that's a shame. That was a great attempt and a good catch.
Priest Ramsey out left. Steve de Blasio comes right for Norristown. Got a blitz. Norristown picks it up. Oh! Just out of reach of number 3, Priest Ramsey. I think Sessa had to get rid of it earlier than he would have liked to because of the rush.
And it was quite a rush, but Ramsey had him beat by, I would say, 2 or 3 steps.
But Ramsey ran right by him. That was number 8, Jason Hughes on the coverage. Ramsey right by him. Had Sessa had maybe a second more, we could have seen a long touchdown for Norristown. But instead, they're 4th and 8 with Wennick back to punt. High snap. Wennick brings it down. Gets a nice end-over-end kick. Bobbled down there. Oh, missed tap. Tolbert bringing it back around the end. He's got room. Hurdles a tackler, but pushed out of bounds. Nice return by number 9, Terry Tolbert, after fumbling the ball.
And you know, that's an interesting situation. He fumbled the ball and picked it up, and I think what that does a lot of times, it throws the timing off of people coming downfield. And then he did break one real good tackle down here and just continued to go right around the right side, and he hurdled a couple of potentialers, it seemed, from up here. I couldn't get numbers or who was doing what, but a real good run back.
Well, Dwayne Smith came flying down on special teams, ready to make the tackle. Tolbert just eluded him. Brought the ball back close to the midfield. We've got a timeout for Abington with 1:56 left to go. This game tied at 8.
All right, so while we have a timeout on the field, I guess we see a situation, as we talked about a little bit there were, in the beginning of the game, some things differently. We thought that maybe the field was going to be a problem. It doesn't appear, to my looking at it, to really be any problem at all. Norristown's field seems to have drained well. And once again, for those people watching this game, we've just had maybe 20 hours or so of rain, or 18 hours of rain. The game was supposed to be on a Friday night, and it's now been moved to this Saturday night. It's 22nd of October. Although people watching on Norristown School District Channel will obviously be watching at a delayed time. But it really wasn't a problem. One of the things that I think both coaches are going to have to contend with is there have been more penalties, more avoidable penalties, than I certainly think either coach would like to have seen.
Abington runs the play with the Norristown coach, is still on the field. Long pass. Oh! Ball is fumbled, picked up by Steve de Blasio. They say no reception. Number 45, Taz Orlina, going deep. Beautiful pass by Harris. Orlina pulled it in, and Wennick was on the covers. Looked like he might have had the interception there for a minute, but Orlina just ran under it. As Wennick made the tackle, the ball popped loose. De Blasio fell on it, but they say no reception.
And that's always a judgment call on the refs, but did he really have control of it? I tend to agree with the refs, although I think the Norristown crowd here is vocally disagreeing with them.
Well, you have to have control of the ball when your feet hit the ground, and Wennick tackled Orlina before he hit the ground. Now they go out wide again. 55, linebacker Bill Every on the coverage. Orlina, the intended receiver again. So with 1:41 left to play, Abington faces a 3rd and 10.
Yeah. And here we have, with like you said, 1:41 left. We talked earlier about they didn't pass very much at all. And now we've had 3 passes right in a row.
Well, Abington obviously trying to go into that halftime with a lead. Haven't been getting long runs, so they figure
and with 3rd
throw
and
the
10,
ball.
they're probably going to try it one more time. See what happens.
We got number 13, Jeff Bender out wide. No, up the middle. That run is stopped short of the first down. Fourth and 4, 1:20, and the clock is running, so we'll see what Abington elects to do here. Abington will go for it here. We've got a flag, delay of game on Abington. So with 56 seconds to go, they don't get the play off. That'll push them back to a 4th and 9.
All right, and once again, we see Cindy McNeil, our ace camera person over here, is trying to show us the Norristown cheerleaders. We know they're cold, Cindy. All right, 56 seconds left, an 8-8 ball game. Abington has thrown about 4 passes in a row right now. They're looking at a 4th and 9 situation. What do you think? Nothing really to lose by throwing a pass. Of course, you could maybe get into a draw play situation, because I'm sure that Norristown right now is looking at that pass. And with 56 seconds left to go, give Norristown, of course, that would give Norristown almost 3 or 4 plays if they begin to throw the ball. And Norristown's quarterback has been throwing pretty well the last couple of games. So where do you think they'll go, Walt? I'll put you on the spot.
I think you'll probably see Abington punt here. They were rolling there for a minute in this first half. We'll see what Norristown does. They've got 64 yards to go for the touchdown.
Of course, 46 seconds can be an awful lot of time if you begin to do some passes that are down and out. We'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll see some quick snaps.
Keep in mind that an incomplete pass stops the clock. Sets it drops and hands to Ruttman. Almost picked off by 9 Tolbert, and that ends the half. So after 1 half of play here at Roosevelt Field, Norristown and Abington tied at 8. We'll be right back to wrap up that first half in a moment. Okay, so after 1 half of play here at Roosevelt Field, Norristown and Abington tied at 8. So far, Norristown's been running the ball very well. Abington not quite as good, but Abington's been just equal to Norristown, and a tie score here.
Yeah, it's interesting. As we were talking about before during the game, one of the things that we talked earlier about was that we thought the field might be a big problem. The field has turned out to really be no problem at all for the people. They seem to be able to run. They seem to be able to throw without having balls slip around. However, one of the things that I think the coaches are going to be talking about is we've seen an awful lot of yellow flags. And not only a large number of yellow flags, but a lot of needless yellow flags. And that's the kind of thing that a coach doesn't like to see.
Well, Abington did get 2 first downs on Norristown penalties, and Norristown got the 2-point conversion after an Abington penalty that put them right down on the 1-yard line after the touchdown. Let's give you the scoring wrap-up. Norristown scored first, Mike Carroll on a 7-yard run, and then Carroll took it in from the 1 for the extra 2, make it 8-0 Norristown in the first quarter. In the second quarter, for Abington with 4:29 left to go. Taz Orlina took it in from about 20 yards, and then Orlina also took in the extra 2, and now we're tied at 8. So what do you expect to see in the second half here?
I don't know. I think Abington started to bowl an awful lot more toward the end of the second half. I seem to think that that they're going to throw a little bit more to loosen up that defense so that they can run against it. Norristown seems to be running fairly well. I think we're going to see more of the same that we saw in the second quarter.
You probably will see Abington throw a little bit more. Norristown stopping the run pretty well, and Norristown probably will stay with that run. Okay, so we'll be right back to show you exactly what happens in the second half. Okay, so we're back ready to start the second half. Abington will receive the kickoff from Rob Wennick. And the game that looked kind of flat to start with has turned into a real battle here. We're tied at 8. Here's the kickoff. Back deep, number 2, Crawley. Number 8, Hughes. Crawley takes it. Crawley finds a hole, broke a tackle, and up to his own 35. So about a 20-yard return. No, he fumbles the ball.
All right, we see a Norristown recovery.
And recovering the ball, number 60, Darrell Bailey.
A lot of hard hitting going on down there. As right before the ball was fumbled, I was saying to myself, I can hear the hits all the way up here in the press box.
The play was over, but one last hit jarred the ball loose. Norristown with excellent field position at the Abington 35. Sessa back to pass on first down. We've got a flag. The ball is tipped. Good play that time, in and out of the hands of number 68, John Wagner. The flag is illegal motion on Norristown. Pushes them back 5 yards. Now they're 1st and 15.
And there we see making her appearance for the first time, the Norristown Eagle.
So the stands have filled a little more here for the second half. Still not a normal Norristown crowd. Sets a hands off to Ruttman, up the middle. Ruttman flashes left. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage for 2nd and 10.
And remember, during our talked a little bit about those penalties, but that were unnecessary. The offsides, the illegal motions. Those are the kinds of things that make your coaching staff get gray before their time.
Sets a back to pass, has time, across the middle, oh! In and out of the hands of number 4. This time, he rolls, gets it away to avoid the sack, but really no time to do anything. In the backfield that time, looked like number 21, Chris O'Donnell for Abington. Putting all kinds of pressure on Sessa. And now Norristown will be forced to punt.
Well, what turned out to be a golden opportunity, or what seemed to be a golden opportunity for Norristown, kind of has fizzled here a little bit. We'll see what happens.
Once again, the penalty. Norristown just running on 2-3 downs to get first downs, forced to go to the air. Wennick, nice punt. It's fumbled down there at the goal line.
Norristown recovery.
John Ruttman hustling down there to make the recovery. And boy, that's a bad play by the Abington. Looked like number 13 that time. That's Jeff Bender. And a really bad play. Went up and tried to catch it on his shoulder. Just not the way to receive a punt.
Now, if anything, he'd go, because he was on about the 4-yard line. It would have gone out into the end zone and come out to the 20. bad decision. And Norristown now has it on what, the 2nd yard line? To the second yard line, 2-yard line.
But
I'll get that right.
Rutman, an excellent special teams player as well as a running back. They reward him, they give him the ball, and he's in for the touchdown.
All right.
So John Rutman makes that touchdown.
I don't know.
Winnick in for the extra point. Splits the uprights. Norristown goes up 15-8. So turnovers on the special teams hurting Abington. Norristown jumps out to a quick 7-point lead in the second half. Crawley takes the kick at his own 15. Brought down at the 27.
And once again, real hard hitting by Norristown special team. I didn't catch the number, but I think that might have been 51.
51, Idris Sudith, and number 43, Jerome Hall, down there on the tackle.
All right, so Abington finds themselves in a hole after that. Only about 3 minutes into the first half, into the second half.
Harris hands off to Gaskins up the middle. Norristown stops that up for no gain. Harris to throw out wide. Looks like a little bit of miscommunication there between his receiver, number 8, that's Jason Hughes, and the quarterback Harris. Hughes was the intended receiver and just stopped along the sidelines. Harris way overthrown.
Yeah, I think you're right. That must have been some sort of miscommunication because I'm not quite sure that was as the play was designed.
So Abington faces a 3rd and 8 at their own 30. The pitch to Orlino. Orlino around the right side. Going nowhere. Mike Carroll made the initial hit, and the whole Norristown defense in there to stop him. Number 55, linebacker Bill Every over there. Orlina gets 3. That's 5 short of the first.
And you know what? One of the things I'm beginning to notice, the whole Norristown squad it seems to be a little bit more pumped up than the Abington squad right about now.
Fitzgerald takes the high snap. Low kick. Norristown will let it roll. Takes a Norristown roll. And down there by number 33, Rob Farmer. So a 27-yard punt by Charlie Fitzgerald. Norristown has 1st and 10 at their own 43. 8:18 left to play in this 3rd quarter. Norristown jumped out to a 15-8 lead on a 2-yard touchdown by John Ruttman. Ruttman again on the carry, makes a little move outside. Gets a couple yards out of what looked like was going to go for no.
As I was saying before, Norristown seems to have developed a little bit more momentum right now. I think that mistake by Abington and the score certainly by Norristown has put them in a position where they think they can develop some momentum going their way right now. They seem to be coming out of the huddle a lot snappier than Abington.
Well, Norristown has so much talent, you just cannot give them any breaks. Abington did, and they took advantage.
That's exactly it.
That was Marcus Smith up the middle. He got close to the first down.
Second and about 8 yards, let's call it.
We've got an official's timeout.
It.
Looks like they're going to bring on the chains for a measurement. It was a 2nd and 8.
Yes, it was 2nd and about 8.
Now Marcus. That's a handoff to Ruttman. Around the right side, gets up the sideline. Ruttman knocked out of bounds by number 68, John Wagner, but not before a gain of about 7. Norristown with no marching band tonight because of on Friday night, the marching band had already committed to a competition.
And once again, let's remind the people that because of the rain, this game has been delayed.
Mike Carroll straight up the middle.
Carroll just dragging people with him. Picked up, I guess, about 5 yards in that carry. And another first down for Norristown.
And we say it every week, every one of those backs, just a tremendous mix of speed, power, and agility.
And we've certainly seen it here tonight. Norristown's running backs just refusing to be taken down by one man.
Definitely requires gang tackling. The pitch back to Ruttman. Oh, Ruttman slips that time. As he tried to make his cut, just had his feet go out from under him.
And I'm not sure that, I guess a little bit of that was that the field is probably now getting a little bit more use out of it. Remember we said in the first half that we didn't really think the field conditions had very much to do with the game. Maybe now that they've been running on it for a whole half, maybe it's produced some mud in certain spots.
Sure, there are still some slick spots, as well as it being cold in the ground, very hard, not much to dig into. Straight up the middle, Marcus Smith spins off a tackler. Marcus Smith just dragging number 21, Chris O'Donnell.
And so it's another great example of what we were just talking about. The same thing, just you can't take him down with one tackler. You're going to have to hit him with 2 or 3 people. And by the time they do that, they're going to get 3 or 4 extra yards out of everything they can. Third down, about 6 yards.
Norristown trying to keep this drive alive. They've been driving the ball very nicely. Now at Abington 28. To Ruttman, around the outside, he's got the first down. Oh, he stepped out of bounds at about the 22. But it looks like that'll be good enough for the first down. Ruttman, not a whole lot of room on the sideline, but he's getting outside very quickly and just turning it upfield.
And I think that is enough for the first. Yeah, they're moving the chain again. All right, so it's 1st and 10. Ball's on about Abington's 21, 22-yard line.
So Norristown relying solely on the running game tonight. And it's worked well for them. 4:59 left to play in the 3rd quarter. Norristown threatening to score again. They're already up 15-8. So it's a hands off to Marcus Smith up the middle. Smith just pounds his way for about 6 yards.
2nd and about 4 or 5.
6.
Ooh. And now I can tell. See, it's really getting bitter out there now because it's getting cold up here in the press box. So I can imagine the people sitting out in the stands are getting real chilly right about now.
Norristown 3-back formation. They go to Ruttman. We've got a flag right in the action there. Ruttman was dragged down by number 21, O'Donnell.
Looks like it's an infraction against Abington.
We've got a face mask. But Ruttman went down a little bit easy there. O'Donnell apparently had the face mask.
And the situation they're in right now, that would get them they're on the 22-yard line, so we're going to go half the distance to the goal.
It looks like they'll mark off. We'll see how much they mark off for this face mask. We've got a timeout.
Timeout Abington. Once again, what we were talking about, those yellow flags that are preventable. And a face mask call on your own 20-yard line is not the kind of thing you want to take home with you. So it puts Norristown in a position of being first and goal to go. With 4:06 left in the third quarter, they're up by 8 points. And 7 points. I'm sorry. Our spotter over here reminds me that it's 7 points. And Norristown is, as they say, knocking on the door. And that's out of the Jeff Brandon cliche book.
Well, Norristown is first and goal. They were inside the 15, and of course the face mask, a 15-yard penalty, so they do go half the distance. And of course you will not hold that against me for questioning you as
No. And actually, we're going to have to make the numbers a little bigger on the scoreboard right now. By looking over at them, I'm going to have to see if we can get maintenance working on that over the weekend.
The 8s look like 9s, the 5 looks like 6s.
Exactly.
It all.
I think Bill Kohler is working the scoreboard here this evening.
And if Jeff was here, he'd probably tell you the eyes follow the hair, right? Second thing to
Correct.
go. Carroll around the end. Carroll in for the touchdown. Using the speed to get outside. 3 men chasing him. Carroll just beat him to the corner of the end zone.
7-yard run. Carroll scores for Norristown. So right now it's 21-8, and Norristown's going to have a shot at the extra point.
Carroll's second touchdown tonight. Snap is good. Winnick knocks it through. That makes it 22-8. Abington in an even deeper hole now. Norristown, as they did last week, taking control of the second half. Norristown showing the firepower that everyone expected here in the second half. 2 touchdowns in the first 8 minutes, and they go up 22-8.
And we can see the Norristown fans seeming to rest a little bit easier, being awfully happy. I hear them singing down in the stands over there.
Another low kick.
Well, would you say that was a real safe move for one of the secondary guys of falling down on it, or do you think he slipped? I'm not quite
That was
sure.
number 83, Chris Schramm, and it looked like he slipped. I don't think he knew what he exactly wanted to do with the ball, and he just slipped. So instead of trying to get up, they just covered the ball, and Abington will start from there.
Which, once again, is one of the real conservative things to do. Here comes Abington. Once again, they're beginning to run out of the huddle a little bit snappier. I think they really make something happen right now. 3:58 left in the third period.
Pitch out to Orlino.
Oh!
Looks like it's covered by Norristown. Yes, it was. Number 6, Steve de Blasio, the safety, in on the recovery.
How many turnovers is that now that Abington has had this evening?
Counting the ones on special teams, that's at least 4. Steve de Blasio in from the defensive secondary. The pitch was low, off Orlena's fingertips. De Blasio dove in under Orlena and covered it. Norristown, excellent field position. If they could score here, I think that would put Abington away. 28 yards to the goal line. I formation. Sessa back to throw. There's pressure. Sessa rolls out. He's going to keep it himself. Good block by Carroll. Sessa gets down to the 20, and a nice block there by Mike.
Sessa picked up 8 yards on that with a real good block by Carroll.
Carroll sort of tied up 2 men, allowing Sessa to turn the corner and get 3 more yards. And you're speaking of the Norristown crowd. You know, this is usually a very big rivalry, this Norristown-Abington matchup. And because of the weather and the postponement, not a real big crowd, but we're seeing a good game here tonight. 2nd and 3 for Norristown. Handoff goes up the middle to Marcus Smith.
Yeah, but as cold as it is, I see quite a few of the Norristown High faculty members. I saw Mr. Spencer and the principal, Mr. Shields over here, kind of keeping an eye on the game.
We've got an injured man down on the field for Abington. Seeing this man down on the field, I've been searching for a word to describe Marcus Smith, and I think the word would probably be a punishing runner. More so than either of the other two, but...
Yes, I think I would agree with you. And like I said earlier, it seems that we've had a lot of hard running, really on both sides, but I think the Norristown backs really have just run with determination this evening.
Norristown every year has 3 very good backs that they use all at the same time, and every single one of them a threat. We don't see many other teams with that kind of threat, that 3 running backs back there who can all beat you.
No, I agree with you.
Abington man now up and walking off the field under his own power. That was number 68, John Wagner. Wagner just 5'5", 150, but a linebacker.
All right. And while we still have the field, let me just remind you that we have our 3 camera people. Cindy McNeil is here with us this evening. Kathy Hutton, Melissa Parker. Not only running camera, but feeding us information periodically, although sometimes we don't believe the information they feed us.
Handoff goes up the middle again. That was Marcus Smith on the carry. We're winding down to 2 minutes left to go in the third. And Norristown with the 2nd and 6. Sessa back to pass. Looks out wide. Priest Ramsey in for the touchdown.
Great throw by Sessa. He put it right where it should be.
Priest Ramsey a little down and out. Passed right on the numbers. Priest Ramsey beat his man around the end. 13-yard pass play. Sessa to Ramsey, and this Norristown offense has really exploded.
And you know, that's a real dangerous pass to throw, that little down and out pattern, because there's nothing that defensive secondary people like better than to pick that off, because everybody is going the opposite way. And if you pick that off, you've got nothing except the grass and the lines to contend with. And the kick is down, it's up, and it's good.
So the score tonight, 29-8 in favor of Norristown, belying the records, which are just the reverse. Abington 3-1 in league, 1-3, but Norristown clearly showing that they're the better team tonight.
I think you would have to say that. Certainly the Norristown fans are going to say that. 29-8, minute 40 left in the third period. Norristown's kicking off. Abington's going to have to make something happen at this point in time, Walt.
Well, with only this 140 in the next 12 minutes to go, down by 21 points, they're going to have to almost score on every drive. They won't get the ball too many more times. Winning short kickoff, taken by 88. Up the middle, he is tripped up. That was number 98, not 88. 98 is Dave Zucker.
And he was upended by number 50 from Norristown.
The Idris Sudith. No, that was the other Sudith brother. 50 is Martrice Sudith. Excellent special teams players for Norristown, both of them. So Abington starts at their own 33. Harris to throw down the middle. Over the head of number 8, Jason Hughes. Hughes looks like they're only receiving, and they haven't been able to get the ball to him tonight. Harris back to throw again. He rolls right. Fires the ball to Orlina. Orlina down the sideline. Nice catch and nice run by Taz Orlina.
All right, Abington is going to have to do more of that type of stuff if they want to get back into this ball game. There's only about 50 seconds left in the third period and then the 12 minutes left in the fourth period. And they find themselves down 21 points as we stand here.
First and 10 at the Norristown 46. They go to Orlina. Orlina, very good runner. I wonder why they didn't use him more tonight.
I don't know. That might have been a first down. I'm not sure. It's certainly very close to the first down. And Abington seems to have refused to roll over and play dead here. They're coming right at them. There's going to be an awful lot more football left in this final period, I have a feeling.
Abington tries to hurry up to the line. It looks like we've got a delay of game. No, that's the end of the quarter. They tried to get a playoff before the end of the quarter, couldn't do it. So we'll switch ends. Norristown with a very explosive quarter, 3 touchdowns. One touchdown by Ruttman, one by Carroll, and play Sessa to Ramsey. So with 12 minutes left to go, 29-8 Norristown.
All right. At this point in time, like I said, Abington has got to not only do everything correctly, but they've got to make Norristown make some mistakes. Certainly Norristown had a 3-touchdown third quarter. Abington could turn around and do the same thing in the fourth. But let's see what happens.
2 wide receivers, 9 Tolbert. Looks like 8 Hughes on the other side. They go up the middle. Gaskins rambles for a first down.
I'd like to, I wish we had a statistician because I'd love to see what Gaskins has done so far this evening. Just in the first quarter, I mentally was making notes. He had an awful lot of yards. We should have written them down. I guess we just have to increase the budget and get more staff here.
It's tough to bring people in on this salary that we're making here. But.
Right. But it is a lot of fun. Here we go.
Harris rolls, keeps it himself. Abington driving nicely, but they have a long way to go. 11:20 left. 20 deficit. Once again, 2 wide receivers. Handoff is up the middle.
Was that Gaskins again?
Yeah, well, that was Gaskins. It would be interesting to see how many yards Gaskins has because it hasn't really broken a long one. It's all short runs up the middle. Lots of carries, but not a whole lot of yards for him.
Which means they've got 2 tries to make something work here.
Definitely. Abington has to be working on the 4 downs now. Every drive has got to be 4 downs. The handoff up the middle. No, Harris keeps it himself around the end.
And that's real close to the first down, if not a first down. And that's that pitch they have run so well all game, except this time Harris elected to keep it.
Well, Harris very quick in it.
Or from the half, I guess, as it might be. We have what appears to be a referee's time on the field. I'm not sure what all the discussion is going on out there.
Well, it looks as if Abington will go for the 2-point conversion. Ball at the 3, of course. Harris keeps it himself. Pressure. He tries to pitch. The pitch to Orlina. No sign from the referees yet. Abington players think he got in. Oh, he didn't get in.
He didn't get in. It looked from here like he did, but obviously the referees have a much better angle on it than we do.
Like number 3, Priest Ramsey, and number 77, Chad Ochnick, over there to wrap Harris up. The last moment, he pitched to Orlina. Orlina tried to go around the end, but was stopped short. So now Abington, 29-14.
Norristown seems to be coming to that pitch out, because that's the same play they were trying to run again.
Well, Norristown, of course, is a very aggressive defense, and they pursue very well.
All right, so 29-14, 10 minutes and 3 seconds left in this game.
Okay, Carroll and Ruttman standing at their own 10 to receive off. Number 3, Billy Godfrey kicks it off. Ruttman takes it at his 5. Bring it back, got a blocker, beats a man. Can't beat 9, Tolbert though. Tolbert, nice tackle, but not before Ruttman brings it out to the 36. Gives Norristown good field position with 9:54 to go.
Good run by Ruttman. He broke a couple people there. For a minute there, thought he was going to go all the way.
Well, Ruttman waited for it to set up nicely. Found the hole and then just exploded through it.
And once again, that aggressive running that we've been talking about all evening that the Norristown squad exhibits.
Hand off to Carroll. Carroll up the sideline. One man to beat. Excellent run, but one thing about Tolbert, he's tackling high, and that's bound to beat him.
I noticed that.
And Ruttman especially, because he's so low, you just cannot tackle him high. Marcus Smith up the middle. Fights for about 5.
Norristown still running with an awful lot of determination. Very impressive. It's the kind of thing we've been talking about all evening.
2nd and 7. We had motion there. Looked like maybe number 57, center Dave Latanzi, got off a little bit early. Sessa kept it up the middle. And about that Norristown offense, they just show you a different look every time. They can just give you, they just have so many options. It's just very tough to defend against them.
Yeah, very well coached. And once again, let's give some credit to the coaches, not only the head coach, Roger Grove, but also the assistants, Rich Everett, Joe Fabrizio, Jim Pyle, Mark Schmidt, and Brian Kennedy.
So 2nd and 12 now for Norristown. The handoff comes the other way to Carroll. Carroll dives across the 20.
And we have, what, 3 and about 8, let's say.
So we'll see what Norristown does here with a 3rd and 9. It's to Ruttman off the right side. Ruttman slashes through the hole. Tough to see from this angle, but doesn't look like he got the first down. We've got a hurt player.
No, and is that 78?
It's like 78, Vinny Catagnis. Goes both ways on the line for Norristown. Does an excellent job.
Looks like a knee injury, but as you can see, at least he's going to be walking off, I think, under his own power.
No, it looks like he's going to need some help getting off the field. That's really a shame. Vinny Catagnis, starter for Norristown, as I said, goes both ways, does an excellent job. Looks like it might be either a knee or an ankle. Looks like it might be that left ankle.
And that's tough. And you can hear the Norristown fans applauding.
Fourth and 4, Norristown goes for it. Sessa fakes, keeps it himself. He's got the first down and more. Sessa hit by number 2, Ray Crawley.
Great fake by Sessa. That's that real exaggerated pitch with everybody going right, and then you put it on your hip and go left.
The handoff to Marcus Smith. Smith once again grinds out some tough yardage. Winding down the halfway point of this 4th quarter.
Stopped by Rob Foreman. He's going to have the 2nd and 8.
Hand off to Carroll. Carroll stopped for nothing in the backfield that time. Well, we don't have him on the program, but it looked like number 38 who brought him down in the backfield. A little bit of mix-up on the handoff. Carroll hit immediately. Rutman on the sweep. Still going.
You want to take the first half of this game?
Rutman will be close to first down.
And Rutman, by the way, a 5'7", 5'7", 160-pound junior, running very well. I'm sure Roger Grove will be glad to have him back next year too.
We've got a timeout, Norristown. Norristown with a 4th and 4 calls a timeout.
And Coach Roger Grove is going out there right now, so he's going to wants to have some sort of talk.
Well, we got this moment. Let's recognize somebody in the stands here tonight. They've been yelling up here all night. We've got some very supportive fans. Looks like, I believe it's the Latanzi family. Of course, family of Senator Dave Latanzi. Very supportive. You have to give them credit for coming out on a night like this and supporting Norristown.
That's right. And while we're giving out accolades, once again, I'd like to mention our camera crew. We've got Kathy Hutton, Melissa Paul, Cindy McNeil, and I hope Jeff Brandon is warm somewhere this evening, sitting there in front of a crackling fire. But we'll see. I'm sure I'll get a call from him during the week.
Well, that, of course, is the only thing that would keep him from coming out here, so I'm sure he's got a very good reason. Norristown will go for the field goal. So Winnick will kick off. Back deep for Abington, number 4, Adam Gerber, and number 8, Jason Hughes. Low kick taken. No, Hughes lets it roll. Finally picks it up. Finds a wall of Norristown players. Brings it out to his own 30.
And this is always a tough situation for that Abington finds himself in right now. 4 minutes left to play. They're down by 18.
You got that one, yeah.
Right. They're beginning to make the numbers appear up here. Points. They realize that their chances of winning are very slim. But it'll be interesting to see if they continue to hit as hard and move as aggressively as they've been moving. Once again, Gaskin's been racking up phenomenal yardage this evening.
Harris back to throw. He's got time. Has to run up the middle. Gets away from Chuck Viego. Tries to take it outside. Still going, still going. We've got a flag. I think we could see an illegal block that time on number 45, Orlina. Orlina that time looked like came in and got number 43, Jerome Hall, in the back.
I think you're right. I think we're going to see it. There are a number of flags all around.
It's a clip.
Clip. So
that'll negate a nice run by Tinker Harris.
That's a shame. That was a, I guess, about a 25-yard run, if not more. And that's going to negate it. Remember, we talked earlier in the game about needless penalties, and certainly a clip is really a very needless penalty.
So they mark off 15 from the point of infraction. Abington with a 1st and 8. Harris out to throw, comes out wide to Hughes. Hughes being chased by Dwayne Smith. Smith can't get him. Nice tackle by Mike Carroll. Hughes tried to spin. Carroll would have none of it. Brought him down.
And a 30-yard pass play. So as I was saying earlier, though, Abington has refused to just let themselves be counted out of this ball game. Their chances may not be great, but they're going to see what they can develop.
Harris being chased by Rich Romano. Gets the pass away.
And we have a flag, which might be an interference call.
It's like a 15-yarder. Yes, it's pass interference. So that'll take Abington down to the 26. Abington now with a chance to work on their passing game. But with 18 points to go and only 3 minutes, 17 seconds, Norristown will go into their prevent and just be content to let Abington have big chunks of yardage. Harris to throw again. Oh! Deflected by Marcus Smith.
Oh.
Orlina and number 66, Chuck Biego, both going after the ball. After the by Marcus Smith.
And that ball seemed to hang up in the air for 4 or 5 seconds, letting enough people get underneath it.
Well, Harris put a lot on it. Smith got his hands out there, and the ball popped up in the air.
Second down, 10 to go.
They hand off this time to Gaskins. Gaskins dragging him, tackled there by 77, Chad Ochnick. And 61, Rich Romano. We'll have a timeout, and they move the chains. So Abington 1st and 10 at the Norristown 16. Harris to throw. Oh, looking end zone.
And that was by, and I can't see his number, he's turning side by 65?
65, that's Steve Clark.
All right, he got a big hand on the ball.
Clark, a 6'2", 210 two-way lineman. And Abington. Harris to throw, the middle.
No flag.
And the pass was incomplete. Molina, the intended receiver, couldn't bring it in. It's a 3rd and 10 for Abington. Norristown trying to stop this scoring drive with 2:34 left to play in the game. Harris to pass again, pressure. 65, Steve Clark can't get him. Harris fumbles the ball. There's a pile up.
Everybody's saying they have it.
And it is Abington ball.
The officials are signaling it's an Abington ball. All right.
We've got an injured Norristown player on the field. We'll try and pick up a number for you. Harris that time flushed out of the pocket by 3 Norristown defenders. Dragged down from behind and fumbled the ball. That's number 3, Priest Ramsey. One of the men who put the pressure on down the field.
Here comes 56 in.
See number 4, Dwayne Smith coming out. He's replaced by number 56, Chuck Bell. And number 55, Bill Every, will come in to replace Priest Ramsey, who looks okay. That's good news for Norristown, of course.
That always makes you feel good when they come jogging off of the field. Maybe he just had the wind knocked out of him.
Ramsey, of course, a very good defender and the major receiving threat for Norristown. Handoff is up the middle. That's Gaskins.
Gaskins up the middle for the 1st down.
Norristown with some personnel changes. Men spring off the field. Up the middle. Gaskins breaks the plane again, a short run. That was his last touchdown. 1:46 left to go. Abington put some more points on the board, 32-20.
All right, and once again, Gaskins, 225-pound, 5'11", or I'm sorry, 6'1", 11th grader. I have a feeling an awful lot more from him.
Abington nothing to lose, going for the 2-point conversion. Harris keeps it himself and is dragged down. Number 4, Dwayne Smith. Number 6, Steve de Blasio over there. So once again, Norristown thwarts the 2-point attempt after the touchdown.
All right, so with 1:46 left to play in the game, Norristown 32, Abington 20.
Scan the crowd.
And here we see a quick pan of not only the Norristown cheerleaders, but the fans. And once again, we have to mention that this game is, although the stands are not normally as packed as they usually are for a Norristown home game, this game had from a Friday night because of rain to a Saturday night. And this is Saturday, October the 22nd, that this game is being played.
Bill Godfrey, ready to kick off for Abington.
Godfrey, the left-footed kicker, ready to kick off for Abington. Carolyn Ruttman, this looks like we've got an onside kick. Check the sure-handed man up in the front line for Norristown. They fall on it. Yes, it's ball. Godfrey kicked it right out of Norristown, man. That was number 61, Rich Romano, I believe. Romano knocked it down and then just fell on it. Good play.
The smart thing to do, because with the whole shift of the right side of that Abington line, everybody standing about 14 yards away from you could make it very unpleasant for an interesting way to end the game here.
Well, he had time. Godfrey, instead of chipping one up, kicked a line at Romano. Followed it momentarily, but fell right on it. Norristown just run out the clock here. They go up the middle to Marcus Smith.
I did it last time. You told me that.
Abington calls timeout on the field. 1:14 left to play in this game here. Norristown has it pretty well wrapped up, 30-20.
All right, and here probably for the final time this evening we see the Norristown cheerleaders. Once again, they've got to be pretty cold, because I know I'm getting a little chilly standing up here.
Well, I'm about doing cheers myself up here, dancing around trying to stay warm. And Norristown certainly has given them something to cheer about. This offense that looked so good against PW, but was stopped in 3 straight league games, explodes here tonight for 32 points. And getting into the heart of their league schedule, this will really help.
And here we see Roger Grove, the head coach of the Norristown Eagles, coming off the field.
Norristown right near midfield. Sessa just dives in the line, keeping it himself.
And with the clock ticking down around the 1-minute mark right now. This is the time of the game you just basically hope that nobody's going to get hurt. The thing you don't need right now is a knee or an ankle injury.
Third and 8 for Norristown. Sessa pitches back to Carroll. Carroll beats a man out of the backfield, fighting for the first down. He got real close. There is a flag on the play, however. That time Orlina got into the Norristown backfield, but Carroll just outran him. Looks like we've got an illegal block against Norristown.
And Abington refuses it. All right. So it's now 4th down and 8.
Abington calls a timeout. I believe that's their last one.
And I guess that's Abington's head coach out there, Doug
Moister.
I can see we're going to have to get new pencils for next game over here.
Or maybe just let someone else do the writing. My hurried chicken scratch isn't too legible, I know.
All right, so with 28 seconds left on the clock, Norristown's up by 12 points. And we're in a 4th and half yards situation.
Once again, let's give credit to that Norristown offensive line. Been doing an excellent job of opening holes for their running backs. The pitch back to Carroll. Carroll still going, puts his head down. Just driving, man, drives right to the Abington 30. And Carroll runs that for the first down. Clock begins to move now that the chains are set.
And I don't think we're going to get another play off here.
Looks like Norristown may just stay in the huddle and run it out. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, that's what they'll do. There it is, the game is over. Norristown offense explodes for 32 points. And Norristown beats Abington 32-20. We'll be right back to wrap up this game in a moment.
All right, here we are after a real interesting Abington-Norristown game. And I think the two things that I think what would characterize the game most from my point of view, we saw an awful lot of hard hitting. We talked about it all through the game. Those Norristown backs refused to be taken by one man. And we had an awful lot of gang tackling that had to go on. We saw some real interesting running. The thing that I think both coaches would probably be concerned with, though, we saw many more yellow flags thrown in the field than I'm sure either of them would like to see. And once again, as we said earlier, some of them were needless penalties that led to first downs.
Well, Norristown has been heavily penalized this year. We've talked about it in previous games. I don't know if it's just a little bit of over-aggressiveness. I mean, of course, they are well coached. Roger Grove, an excellent coach. May just be youth. They are a very young team, and just some aggressiveness.
All right, let's see if we can have the stop over here then.
Okay, lots of scoring tonight. We had Mike Carroll in the first quarter, had a 6-yard run, and then after an Abington penalty that put Norristown down at the 1 on the extra point, Carroll took it in for the 2 points. That made it 8-0. Then the only scoring in the first half, besides that Carroll run, Taz Orlina on a 20-yard run for Abington. Orlina took it in off the pitch for the 2 points. That made it 8-8. That was all for the first half, but then in the second half, Norristown just exploded. John Ruttman on a 2-yard run, 16 left to go in the third quarter. Winnick added the extra point. That made it 15-8. Then Mike Carroll, a 7-yard run with 4:08 left to go in the third quarter. Rob Winnick added the kick. That made it 22-8. Norristown went up 29-8 on a 13-yard pass play from Dave Sessa to Priest Ramsey. Winnick added the kick. That made it 29-8. And then Winnick hit a 25-yard field goal to make it 32-8. That was all the scoring for Norristown. Abington, then with Norristown in sort of a prevent defense, got it up to 32-14 when Gaskins went in from the 1 with about 10 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. And then Gaskins again, another short run, made it 32-20. Both 2-point conversions were missed by Abington. They failed on them. So the final score, 32-20. Norristown dominates the game again.
All right, and next week we're going to find Norristown playing Penridge.
They'll play Penridge. That should be, after the way they've played in the last 2 weeks, that should be a pretty easy game for them. Maybe we might like to see them come out a little more aggressive in the first half and a little bit stronger because they were tied after the first half tonight. But dominating the second half, I don't think we'll see any problems next week.
And then after Penridge, we play Central Bucks.
Central Bucks East will be at home, and then they go up to Central Bucks West. And I encourage anyone who can to come out and watch their home games, and especially that Central Bucks West game. The way they're playing now, they're going to go rolling in, look like the only team who's got a chance to beat West.
That's going to be great. All right, I'd like to then just say I want to thank our camera people. We had Cindy McNeil, who did the first half and second half. We had Melissa Parker, Kathy Hutton was back there. For myself, Tony Coya, and Walt Fry. I would just like to say be sure to stay tuned to this Norristown School District channel for not only other sporting events, but all sorts of other programming. We thank you. Have a nice night.